Food waste is crazy. You can look at my car, and all this food that I'm driving 60 miles an hour down the highway is food that I rescued from one supermarket. It's food that would normally be thrown out, not in like a 1-day time span, but in about a half an hour, 45-minute time span. The grocery stores that I work with Community Solidarity, they don't save items for us. They allow us to collect what they're going to be throwing out at that point in time. We're a food rescue organization. So everything you see in my vehicle is what would have been tossed out in a 45-minute time span at just one store. So I live here in Long Island, in New York, and in Long Island there's 9,000 grocery stores. So just imagine that roughly there's 9,000 vehicles like mine worth of food being thrown out every single 45 minutes. Just think of how many vehicles that is in a day worth of food. Think how many meals that can provide, how many hungry people in this country and globally we can take care of. The reality is that food waste is so large that we can actually feed everybody on the entire globe with just what's thrown out. But we don't. It's crazy. And while you might think I'm crazy driving on the highway at 60 miles an hour with no visibility and a ton of food, I think a country that is tossing out so much of what it produces in the name of capitalism, in the name of trying to keep prices stabilized while people go hungry, while there's people that are homeless, while there's people that are making decisions saying, you know, I can't afford a gallon of orange juice, so I have to spend the money on a gallon of gas to get to work. I think that's crazy. Now, you might look at me and say, at some point or another, this poor young sap is going to get in a car accident because he means well, but he's really just going to total himself one day. Well, I look at our country, and I think the same exact thing. You know, we might mean well. We might have charities and food rescue organizations that are trying to alleviate the problem, but they're not going to solve the problem. They're not going to solve the problem because we don't want to address the issue in the problem. And the issue is the fact that we waste too much. And the reason why we waste too much is because of our economic system. We have a have and have not system. And so when we use science and technology and all the great wonders that we've created over the past millennia of human innovation, and we have surpluses of things like food and clothing and housing, when we have resources that could educate everybody, there's a certain problem with an economic system that relies on scarcity. So we artificially make these things scarce. You know, food isn't scarce. I had no trouble getting all this food in my car. Yet there's children in Ethiopia that are not going to have a meal tonight. And there's children just a few blocks down the road from where I live that are not going to have a meal tonight. Now, I can do the best I can do to try to help share food with those people. But admittedly, the most I can do is provide a Band-Aid. The real change has to come in our economic system. The real change has to come from the fact that we realize that we've gotten so smart, that we've gotten so good as a people, that we can produce all of these things that we view as commodities extremely easily. That we can produce them so well that for a farmer to grow them becomes uneconomical for the farmer. Because corn is such an easy crop to grow now with modern technology that if the farmer were to actually charge the price that it takes the farmer to grow it at the market, and with the surplus that the farmer has, the farmer couldn't pay his own bills. So we create food waste. We create food waste to sustain the farmer. We give the farmer subsidies to grow the crops we want. Then we give the farmer subsidies to burn the crops that we want. Then we give businesses subsidies to waste the crops that we want to see wasted. That system can't keep going on. We should marvel in the fact that we have such a surplus of food. We should marvel in the fact that technology and innovation has gotten us to the point where we can feed every single person on the globe. And we shouldn't try to create innovation to prevent people from eating. What we should do is reevaluate our priorities. Perhaps food, housing, education, healthcare. Perhaps these things should be human rights. Perhaps we've gotten to the point that, like air, it's all around us. And that while it does create money and does create resources and it does require jobs to create these items, perhaps we've gotten to the point where we can realize that they're actually a public good. For all of those that want to believe in the free market, we don't live in the free market. We haven't lived in the free market for a very long period of time. For those that want to believe that we live in a capitalist society where the best wins, well, we don't. We live in an oligarchy with subsidies, where we subsidize the innovations that we want to see. That's why oil companies get billions of dollars of tax dollars, while, green solar companies might get a few million. But oil companies make billions of dollars, and solar companies don't at the moment. So when you talk about capitalism, you have to admit that we don't actually live in it. If you want to see a more competitive economic market, if you want to see a climate that's more intuitive for innovation, then perhaps we need to start acknowledging that the basic needs for human beings and our environment can be met scientifically with our innovations, and that maybe those things don't inhibit our economy. Perhaps, if anything, they'll help our economy grow. Imagine America in 30 or 40 years where every single child's guaranteed a college education. They don't have to worry about going hungry, so they can focus on, their studies. We have job programs to help build up a new economy. They don't have to worry about their parents paying the bills for their homes, because we realize that we have so many homes in this country that we can actually provide 28 homes for every single homeless person. So imagine if those needs were met. Would people be lazy? I'm sure there'll be one or two people that are lazy. There's one or two people that are lazy right now. But in reality, people want to thrive. People want to innovate. They want to succeed. They want to build things that don't exist at this point in time. And you'll be giving them the ability to. Imagine giving everyone the same tool set. Not just those on the top of our society, but those on the bottom as well. It's not saying we're going to reclaim wealth or redistribute wealth. You want to be rich? Fine, keep your riches. But just those basic needs for survival, just those basic things that people need to get by, in order to not have to focus on just survival, to allow them the wiggle room, the little bit of rope that they need to think about self-improvement. That is what we can do. So this is a long tirade on food waste and waste in general in our society. And this car is a testament to what the tip of the iceberg could be to solve that problem. I ask you, not just to sign a petition or, voice your opinion at the local town hall meeting, but to get involved in your community, to think of the changes that you can implement in your own community, and to demand real social change. And that starts with you and what you do. Thank you.